Hello everyone, welcome to Pressing Matters with Paul Dalglish, sponsored by Oosh. Thank you so much to Oosh for getting involved on this one as well. They are enabling us to do the Pressing Matters podcast, so big love to them, of course. You need to go and check out oosh.co.uk for some incredible things that you can win. So yeah, please go and check that out over there. As always, you know all about Oosh by now, but we are here to talk Pressing Matters, Paul, and we are looking forward to this podcast, aren't we?
Yeah, I can't wait. And just with regards to Oosh, that's where I won these teeth.
Maybe I could benefit.
Oh, yeah. I think, I'll chip in for them.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks, mate. So with half the comments section, they're always talking about my teeth on the comments section, and it's where I sit next to you. Maybe this was a bad idea, this podcast, Paul.
You've been sunbathing with your mouth open. Teeth are dead brown.
Sakes. Welcome to Pressing Matters, where we talk about Chris Pajak's teeth and Paul Dalglish's teeth, and then we transfer that somehow into talking about Ian Rush's teeth and Kenny Dalglish's teeth. Yeah, that's what we're going to do on this podcast. We're just here to have a great time, aren't we, really?
Yeah. Can't wait. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it is... Listen, we're going to try and cover some serious topics, but it's more of just about four people getting in and having, covering the teeth and having a laugh.
It's going to be a fantastic podcast, I'm telling you.
And by the way, we don't need light between my teeth and my head. We won't need many lights.
Well, yeah. Times are hard. Yeah. Electricity is expensive. Yeah. We've got a big one to start us off, though, haven't we? But it's like Pressing Matters is important because I think people are going to think about pressing and football, and we're going to talk about that. But also, it's big conversations. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, Pressing Matters, it covers... We're going to talk about things that are relevant, but you know, if it comes up, we'll talk about the current Liverpool team. You know, it's just about getting good people on, having a chat, letting them relax, and then just seeing where the story goes.
And we've got an absolute belter of an episode for you today. Yes, the King, Sir Kenny Dalglish, and Liverpool's all-time record goal scorer Ian Rush. Enjoy. Well, hello then. Yes, it is here. It's the Pressing Matters podcast. We're joined by Paul Dalglish, by the King, Kenny Dalglish, and by Liverpool's record goal scorer as well, Ian Rush. Wow, I feel well out of place here, to be honest with you. Paul, we've wanted to speak to, obviously, your dad. We wanted to do a podcast for a while now. We wanted to bring in Ian Rush because there is no more iconic duo in Liverpool football history than these two. How excited are you for this?
Yeah, I can't wait. And especially, you know, the podcast called Pressing Matters, and arguably the greatest presser in Liverpool's history is Ian Rush. So it's an absolute privilege to have Ian and somebody else on, yeah. He called me adopted, didn't he, on the Overlap podcast?
Kenny?
Yeah, so you're saying it was my dad.
A million people heard that?
Yeah, a million.
By the way,
yeah.
His mother wasn't going to sign the papers. She was going to send them back.
That's what you should have done with Paul.
That's what I'm saying.
She said they never kept the receipt.
He was talking about that yesterday, you know. I think he really hurt his feelings.
It did, yeah.
When?
Yesterday we went for a coffee and he was mentioning it.
Yeah, but it just proves, doesn't it? Yeah. Adoption works.
We're here to promote a documentary, though, as well, Paul. Documentary you've worked hard on, obviously, behind the scenes. Asif Kapadia is the director. He's done some incredible things. He's an Academy Award-winning director for Amy. I actually watched the Federer one, the Maradona one. They're all brilliant, aren't they? How on earth did this come about?
It was, well, when we first started looking after, we set up the agency and started looking after my dad, we were thinking, well, he's very difficult, as you know, doesn't like doing much media work. So it's just thinking, what type of thing could we do? He doesn't want to be here.
You see Kenny's face, he's fuming.
But it was like, how can we ask him to do the least and get the biggest impact? And obviously the way that Asif creates documentaries is it's all historical footage and then only uses audio from today. So when we explained that to my dad, you were actually quite excited. You quite enjoyed it, didn't you? You like having a little chat and a talk as long as there's no cameras.
But the only thing was the three people who you mentioned there who'd done the documentary for previously, they were all posthumously done, weren't they? I said, I'll do it for you, but I don't want to be Johnny Nackran, posthumously watching the...
Well, you've got a few days. It comes out in Rome
so
on the
need to hurry
21st,
up.
so don't be dying before then.
You were almost there. Andy Williams.
This comes out tomorrow, so just don't be dying in the next few days.
Did you need convincing, Kenny? Because obviously there was a documentary called Kenny, 2017 maybe?
Original. No, obviously, if you want to do it, go ahead. It's no... I think there's not much there that people don't know, I don't think.
I didn't know you were a goalkeeper to begin with. That was the first frame of the film.
Was it?
Yeah, in the cartoon section.
But I was
beginning.
only 7.
Why was that?
Because they never had a goalkeeper for the game, the school game on the Saturday. And the school was split in 2. And I was in the younger half, waiting to move up. And the guy was looking for somebody, and one of the boys said, "Oh, there's a wee boy in the annex. We play with him on a Sunday, he's all right in goal." So they gave us a game.
I don't know if any player ever goes forwards. Normally you start as a centre forward and go backwards, don't you? You didn't go anywhere, like.
No, it's too selfish. I think you start off, you want to score goals, don't you?
Yeah.
Then when you realise you can't score goals, you drop yourself back and you're in goal if you're shite.
So these lads in the other school thought you were shite.
They must have.
Paul, I mean, you talk about Asif getting in touch with you and stuff, but is there a story behind why he wanted to do the documentary?
Well, we got in touch with him, to be honest, and we were thinking, we were actually looking for, is there any Liverpool fans that are documentary makers? And then it turns out the best guy in the world at making documentaries is a Liverpool fan. And it turns out the first game he went to was Liverpool-Arsenal with his family, and he's from Islington. Saw Liverpool play and was like, I'm supporting Liverpool, and had my dad's picture on his wall. So it was, I think it's my dad's picture on his wall, right? And then that was it. That was it, really. It was. He said he wanted to tell my dad's story to the younger generation, and I think, Ian, you can relate to this as well because you've got the same thing. It was because I've got kids, and my kids really are a target audience, the 14, that maybe not know what the granddad did or whatever, but they get credibility because they're in the video game, FIFA, or it's EAFC now. And you've obviously got an icon card in that as well. Have you noticed the difference in with younger players since you're in that? People mention it, younger ones.
Yeah, they only mention it because of FIFA.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it's all about. And this the generation now, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you can't buy for what your dad has done and for what I've done and things like that. But I say the younger generation, they only know you on FIFA.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And the amount of credibility you get if your card is good in the game is... My son went to school and he was like, someone said, is that your granddad on that video game? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, so then he became dead proud. I thought it was a knobhead before that.
That's absolutely wild. Go on.
Yeah.
I'm better on the game than what I was in real life. Without any shadow of a doubt.
You must have 100 then.
Do you know what was funny? So when we were actually playing, we'd had the game in the house, and so my dad would be watching his grandson playing a video game using him.
With him?
Yeah. Pretty cool, isn't it, really?
Aye, I scored 5. I thought it must be halfway through the season if I've got 5.
Well, listen, one of the things we need to talk about is the partnership between the two of you. It is absolutely iconic. The two of you playing together and stuff. Was it always that easy, Ian?
Well, once I could understand what he's telling me, yeah. I'll tell you a story, Bon. I remember when he said, when I get the ball, you just run into that space.
Yeah.
And he got the ball. He'd put the ball exactly where he said it was going to, and I didn't make the run. The look on his face after that, I shit myself. I'm going to make that run next time. So basically, he'd done exactly the same, and I made the run this time. And the ball went to exactly where he put it, so it did make it look a lot easier after I learned. Tell me once, tell me twice. You tell me 3 times, you might as well tell me 33 times. I'm not going to learn, but I learned on the second time from Kenny.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. But off the field, was it the same? Was it always easy off the field?
No, we didn't. Really opposite, I would say, because when we were in the dressing room, all he used to do was just take the piss out of me. No, it's amazing when you do that, because off the field, he was into golf, Ken was into golf, I was into horse racing. So off the field, nothing really. We never done nothing, did we, off the pitch?
No, you were over one side of the Mersey, we were on the other.
Yeah.
But that side, both sides of the Mersey used to join, whatever side they were on, joined up, and they went out. Yeah. The players went out with Big Jan or Nico or something, and the wives sometimes, Pally Blue. And we were the same, Southport side, we went out with the wives. And by the way, the team spirit, for me, was one of the most important things. And the way that they got on with each other and respected each other. Yeah. In the dressing room, sometimes it's a bit cruel on people when they're trying to take a specimen out of them, but it's just part of growing up. It's part of growing up. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty and you're playing, by the way, everyone was the same. There was no big timer. No. Well, there was a Charlie, right, which was Souness when he walked in. But he soon lost that. He lost the arrogance, and one of the lads. The dressing room played a huge part in the success of the team. Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was. You have a sink or swim. When you're in that dressing room there, it's ruthless, like, isn't it? But it's getting you to be part of the team. When you went out on the pitch, it was completely different. Everyone was your best mate. But when you're dressing room, you're in there, now before you go training and everything, and everyone just like, when I first got there, I'll never forget, I got next change to Ray Clemens, God bless him, and Alan Hansen. And first thing Clem said to me, keep your head down, say f*** all, you might be okay. And that's all I heard. And I got Kenny taking the piss, saying, so you got changed in the dark, did you? And all that. And I was at this little town in Flint, and Chester was a big place, never mind Liverpool. So you come into Liverpool and seeing all these guys. So after about 3 or 4 months, you realise, I might be as good as you.
Yeah.
But just getting a chance to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said before, maybe once. I had one chance when it made me debut. God, Kenny wasn't playing then when I made me debut. Then the second chance in the cup final replay, I was determined, said I'm going to try and prove myself there. And I think I did in that game.
Yeah. Is it true that you went to Bob after that first season and said, look, listen, if I don't get any more game time, I want to move on?
Yes, well, again, the lad's taking the piss again, weren't they? So I'll tell you a story, because we go back pre-season, and Kenny and all there, Siri, Dave Johnson, I'm saying, been in for a rise? I went, no. He said, you deserve a rise. He said, you played 7 games. You're the first team player now. So I got going to Bob Paisley. He said, I want to rise. He said, what do you mean you want to rise? I said, I'm a first team player now. He goes, how many goals have you scored? I went, none. How many plays you have to play 7 games? He said, no, so bad. This big man. I said, I want to be put on the transfer list. And he said, you're on the transfer list again. And I was going, now, oh shit. So I do that. So I played the game, and they put me on. My first goal for Liverpool was a European Cup. I think we were about 4 or 5-0 up against the Finnish team, Oulu Passarella or something like that.
Yeah, so I'll take your word for it.
And I scored my first goal for Liverpool then. Then we played Exeter City in the League Cup. We won 5-0, I scored 2 then. Then we played Leeds United in the league. We won 3-0, I scored 2. And we played Exeter again at Anfield, because it's 2-legged then. We won 5-0 and I scored 2 there. So I scored like 7 goals in just like 3 in the big games. So next time Bob Paisley comes in, he says, okay, I'm going to give you that rise now. And I said, does that mean I'm off the transfer list? He said, you're never even on it. The psychology then, there. And I go, that was my first learning about lads taking the piss, and even the manager.
Yeah, it was a brutal, because I've heard some of the stories, it was a brutal dressing room. When you look back now, you look back. So, but do you want to give a little bit, because in your head, right, because it could have been really different. You could have gone a different way, and like arguably the greatest partnership in British football history might not have happened. But I'd love to get your perspective, because you thought it was trying to make somebody feel comfortable, didn't you, and feel accepted?
It was to make them feel comfortable. Yeah. I mean, one of the things and there's a picture up in the wall there of him with a moustache. Right, and the drawing is better than what it was in real life.
I like that one.
So he came out and he's trying that he's got a moustache, but he's no. Honestly, you think he'd done it with eyebrow pencil? Whereas, but Tosh, and Tosh was a bit of a play on word as well, or a bit of a part because he scored a goal with his head. So they called him after John Toshak.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't supposed to score with his head.
I couldn't hit the ball. I really scored a really good goal. Like Toshak would have been proud of it. So after that, they just called me Tosh. But I think everyone then would have had a nickname, wouldn't they?
Everybody did.
Yeah.
So he gets. It's got Tash on. They say to him, Tosh. I says, you got to be careful. He said, what? I went, well, the moustache. He said, you know for yourself, there's a lot of things that don't grow in the shade.
Yeah. The little one, talking about Tosh and Tash. Yeah. I remember I was playing for Wales once and Vinnie Jones come into the squad there and there's Tosh and he kept calling me Tash. For 2 years he was calling me Tash. We didn't tell him.
Oh, brilliant.
So with the moustache and everything else and obviously Ian coming into the side, like, on the training ground, did you work on that partnership together? No, Ian?
No, I'm not. No, we weren't on the same side all the time. It was mostly five-a-sides, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, a condition five-a-side.
Yeah, conditioned, yeah.
What does that mean? Because it's easy to say condition five-a-side, but for someone like me who's never worked in football or anything, what's a condition five-a-side?
Be about one touch, two touch, and four, or ball's got to go back before it goes forward, or...
And closing up.
Yeah.
Right, and also, like, say, if Russia hadn't scored for 5 minutes, right, they bring the goals out the way, right? And if it was Grobler that hadn't saved the goal, right, they bring them in a wee bit.
Confidence, psychology, everything else.
Right, but people say to us, what's the secret? It must be a secret. Liverpool must have a secret. You say, by the way, if they have a secret, you think we're going to tell you?
I think you're taking this to the grave and you're just lying to my face, to be honest with you.
Do you know what's funny, right? So I when I went down the coaching badges, there's a guy called Raymond Bahayan, and he worked with the Welsh FA as well, and he's the one who gave Jurgen a lot of stick for players getting injured. He's quite popular online, and I studied his kind of ideas, and it's amazing. I was lucky enough when my dad was when he was the manager, Ronnie Moran gave him the books about all the training things, and the similarities, they were so ahead of the time, the boot room, because even things like, if you need sprint training, they would have played you on the boards 4v4. So it wasn't, people say five-a-sides, but it was sometimes 3v3 or 4v4. It was sometimes 10v10. It was just, you got every single thing that you need for fitness in a football game is in a football game. And like, so if you needed sharpness, they do small games. You needed fitness, they do big games. And those guys must have been, without you knowing it, were just so advanced, so ahead of the time.
They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly, they used to, the heading was the date of the game, the training, the conditions, how many trained, who never trained, what their injuries were, what we did in training, right? And then back on the coach and up the road. And it was the same. They used to write down every single day, right, that they trained. And when there was one year, they had a few problems with boys' cartilages. Mm-hmm. And they went through every year, they went through all the books, went back over to see if there was anything at all that they changed in the training we'd done.
And so if someone, as an example, picked up a hamstring injury at the weekend, maybe they could look back at the training that they were doing and see if there was any correlation between the training that they were doing that week and an injury that occurred, and they've got years and years. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But the simplistic theories and injuries as well.
Yeah.
All Bob used to be a trainer, which meant he gave you treatment before they got the managerial job. If you were injured, Ronnie gave you ultrasound, or Joe gave you ultrasound, and you used to get you, well, he's got me in at 6 o'clock at night, and Joe just lived in Priory Road, so he used to walk up to the ground. You're coming in for Southport, and you'd done morning, afternoon, and then you're getting at 6 o'clock. By the way, you soon get fit. And there was this, I had a wee bit tight across the pelvic sort of place. So Joe went, no problem. He took a pair of the jock straps home with him, and they folded it over about 3 or 4 times. His missus ran it down in the sewing machine. And honest to God, you think your stomach was going like that. You think you were a beer drinker, it was going like that. So we were out in the pitch to warm up, and I used to hit 3 crosses with my right foot, 3 for my left for Bruce. I don't think he caught one, but it didn't matter. It took the pain away, and that was me up and running. And that's so simplistic. Some other place, you'd be lying on a bed getting treatment every day, and they wouldn't be getting any better. They were really intelligent. And when they talk about the boot room at Anfield, when they went to away games and I became manager and you went in to the opposition, you always have a drink, which is good. It's the right way to be.
Even when you were a player manager?
No, I never had it. Well, you went in for a drink, but I was on water. And I tell you, they were unbelievable at trying to squeeze as much information as he could about the guy who was running the other team. And he used to walk in after a victory, oh well, that's us 2 years, got a job for this week anyway. They couldn't have dreamed of getting the sack. And the people used to talk to them and they used to squeeze them for information. And they never gave them that. Never gave them. I was in there and kept my mouth shut. I'm going to spoil this if I open my mouth.
But anyone, when you were the manager, like Bob was upstairs, wasn't he?
Bob was upstairs.
Did he sort of teach you those ropes, as it were? What to do in those situations?
Let's just keep your mouth shut.
Get them pissed, get them talking, and keep your mouth shut.
Right. I was soaking wet behind the ears. Managerial things, totally different for playing. Right? It's everybody you're looking after, not just yourself. So if somebody phoned me up when I started off and that, Bob was upstairs. So I used to say to him, all right, I'll come back to you. Straight up with dancers, right, to speak to Bob. And I said, and you're sitting there, the phone never rang, there was no mobiles. I said to Bob, I said, what do we need? Why am I coming in here every day? It was during the close season. I said, why are we coming in every day? He says, the phone might ring. I said, Bob, I've got a phone in the house. He could phone the house and tell me. He went, no, you've got to be here. And even in his dressing room, he came up and he said, do you mind if I word with Tosh about something or Russie? I said, Bob, of course you can. Never, ever did he show any disrespect in any way, shape or form, like to myself. I mean, I was soaking wet behind the ears, as I said, and it was more respect for the position that I held probably than respect for the person himself.
Do you know what? We'll get to the managerial bit in a bit, but I think we've got to talk about the partnership first and kind of like the...
I thought you'd finished.
But I do think it would be great to understand, because you said that it was almost instinctive, but it was such a rare partnership as well, because at the time, most of the partnerships were a big one and a little one. You know, and they talked about the big one and a little one, where you were really, if you look at the formations now, the 4-2-3-1s, and you've got a number 10, and then you've got a number 9, just one up front with one underneath. You were one of the first kind of ones to do that, but it was called a 4-4-2, and it was just 2 strikers, but one dropped off, one played. So it was, I'd love to know kind of like how, did you speak about it, like even at training, or was it just purely instinctual?
I think for me it was instinctual, because we didn't work on it a lot now, but I think you're relying on, like, say, Kenny, because he was like sort of older than me, and Souness and all that, you know, you're relying on them, and we just done what they said. Myself and Ronnie Whelan, we say that. It's like, say, we'll go 4-4-2, then we're playing away in Europe, and Ken would drop in midfield and be 4-5-1. without telling me. You're just walking there, and I'm just running up and down like doing all that by myself. And after about 10 minutes, get back in the game. Kenny moved up to 4-4-2 again. So they just read the game, especially Kenny and Suey, and most probably Jockey at them. They just played the game the way it was on the pitch. We got told off the pitch what to do, but after 10 minutes, things can change. And I think what we've done then, the likes of Kenny and Suey and Jockey, they changed the game during the game. And myself and Ronnie Whedon, we were just like there, we're just learning the game and everything. So, we start learning from them.
Would you say that was a big change when you played the involvement of coaches making tactics rather than players deciding the tactics on the pitch during your career, Rushy? Because coaching really started coming in a lot. You went to Italy as well, when George Graham.
Like going to a foreign country.
Did you notice a change? Did you notice a change during your career?
I'll tell you what happened when I was in Italy. They signed me and all that, and the secret was for pressing game in the 80s. If I thought I could win the ball, then I would go. Then Kenny would go, Suey and Jock, we'd all as one. Yeah. But if they weren't ready, they'd tell me not to go. But when we're ready, say, for example, the ball's going on the left back on his right foot, that would be my thing. Oh, I'm going to close him down because he'll have one eye on me coming and it's going on his weaker foot. I know that Kenny, Sue and Jack, they're all behind me there. And 8 times out of 10, we'd most probably get the ball back or go out of play. So we're back in play then. But when I went to Italy, that's what I done. The ball was going there. It went over my head and they were all back in their own half. So I went then to see Rino Marchese, he was the manager at the time. I said, listen, this is what I do when I play for Liverpool. This is what you must do. He said, no. It's easier for one person to adapt than 10 to adapt. Yeah. So in the end, football in Italy became boring for me because I wasn't closing down until I got by the halfway line. Right. So then, and if you go 1-0 up, that was it, shut up shop. So it was completely different football from what I was used to at Liverpool.
Just talking about the terminologies then, so that would be, you say drop, now they call it a deep block. Yeah, but it must be, because that's one of the things that I've sat kind of with you at games and some of the new terminologies that come out. You like the new terminologies, don't you?
Rush, you said it earlier. You said that if we started a game in Europe, most of the time we drop off a wee bit. I dropped off somewhere across the middle. Rushy would be in front of us. What's that? Is that a low block? Is that a high block or just a good block? Playing up front himself.
Yeah. But what you were describing was gegenpressing. Yeah. What you were describing was what we would now call gegenpressing, isn't it? Yeah. You're waiting for someone to pick it up on their weaker foot because there's more chance of them miscontrolling it, giving you more time to get to the football.
But you have to work as a team. It's not worth just me going. Yeah. We all have to go together. And when I was going and they weren't ready, they'd shout me, don't go. So it's one of them.
But would that come in training as well? Like, would there be rules in training that would create that habit for you when the game came round?
Yeah, most probably didn't know, but it must have been.
Yeah, because I think Cara spoke on the Oval, didn't he, about nearest man press, one of the rules in, when you're playing the small side.
He can only press if the people behind him are saying go.
Yeah.
He can only press if he's better. It's better for him if he presses when the other people are in position.
Yeah, I said this before. One of my first days in the reserves, Sammy Lee was the manager, and he said, who's the best defender that Liverpool's ever had? And everyone naming defenders. He said, no, Ian Rush. He's the best defender Liverpool's ever had, and that was the mentality. It was like, that is our first defender, and the amount of times from memory that you won the ball back, and even if you pressed, then it might have been the person behind you that won it back.
Yeah, that's what but I think when you're playing for Liverpool, all the fans want as long as you give 100%.
Yeah.
If you give 100%, they like you for that, and that's what I done. My job was score goals and that, but my job is, the thing is that my first thing when I went out was the team to win.
Yeah.
The second was to score goals, and third was to play well in that order. So as long as I gave 100%, but the team were winning as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things there, we were obviously talking about some interesting stuff, that when you went to Italy, and you went from the boot room to Italy, to Juventus, obviously Platini just left there, hasn't he? Michael Laudrup, these players. Were they more ahead of, or were the boot room like years ahead?
Well, I think it's two different things there. I went there because I thought Juventus, they were the Liverpool of Italy, to tell you the truth there. And if I went there now, I would say, I'm Ian Rush, I play for Juventus, I'm the best player in the world. you had Maradona of Napoli, Mateus of Inter, and all these, and you had all these players, and they said they're the best, and they were going there, sort of virtually picking the teams themselves. And I just went there as Liverpool. If I went into Liverpool dressing room and said, I'm me and Rush, I'm the best player in the world, they'd say, okay, let's say how good you are by yourself. It's a completely different mindset. Mine was as a team game, where in Italy it was the individual. Like I say, the Russ of Juventus, Maradona of Napoli and things like that. So I think but I learned most probably more how to play European football rather than English football. And it was different.
Do you have thought about that as well? Do you think, because the Liverpool, like even to this day, there was a Liverpool way that even when you speak to any of the old players from that generation, that they behave, and there's like a rules that you live, and one was you don't self-promote. I remember like you saying to me, if I had a bit of red on my boots and you said to me, why don't you make somebody talk about by the way you play, not by what colour you've got on your boots? And that was this mentality. It went into being a dad as well, and would you say, I was trying to think where that comes from. Do you think that was just came from the boot room, or do you think that came from the social situation in Liverpool at that time, where it was poverty and there was a lot of it was, and then if you'd have come out at Liverpool at the time, you'd have been a big time Charlie when nearly half the city didn't have a job. They'd have turned they'd have turned against you. And I just wonder whether it was a boot room thing or a society thing that created that mentality.
But I think around about that time, the players were never detached for the fans. They could go if they wanted to get into the pub and have a drink, no problem, right? They would go in. They helped us enormously when we were struggling, and we did it obviously for ourselves, but obviously for them. They were there. They were great encouragement for us. They gave us support when we needed it, and nowadays they still give the great support for the teams, but the players they don't have the enjoyment that we had in our days. Not just our dressing room, lots of dressing rooms were the same.
Off the pitch, isn't it? So,
But there was flamboyant superstars in England at the time, just not at Liverpool. If you think of like a Rodney Marsh, George Best, Frank Worthington, these flamboyant.
They didn't play for Liverpool.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was just it was more about why you think Liverpool's mentality was the way it was. Because you said Souness changed when he came in as well.
Because when you go in, you're not going to, as an individual, if you want to be an individual, go to darts or something, go to golf. Don't take up football, because it's collective. By the way, it doesn't matter who the best player is, right? People say, that's the best one, he's the best one. No, it's on the day, right? The one that's the best one would probably be a striker. But they might score a goal, but they can't stop your team losing a goal. The defenders will still be losing a goal. But they'll know, apart from set pieces, they might not do it much up front. And that's when Rusty referred to earlier about they were big centre-backs then. Well, that suited him down to the ground. Because you see them try to run. They can't run. So if they push up, the space is in behind, and you just put it. The goalkeeper then was on his goal line. They were like Subbuteo goalkeepers. They never came off their line, did they? They just waited there. So there was a load of room for the playing behind. And if they step back, you just move off them.
Yeah. Was there ever an example of somebody that did come in and was a bit of a big time Charlie that got...
No, it was only Charlie. As soon as came in, but he was a young boy, right? And he was Jack Lad and everything. What do you want to drink? Champagne. The boys are going, champagne? We've not won a trophy again, have we? What are you saying that for? And then he came into the dressing room one day. Remember, it wasn't a mink coat, was it? It was a furry coat, right? We've all got wearing suits. You turn up at the ground, you're waiting in the dressing room. He walks in. Oh, you wouldn't have seen him. He walks in. Oh, the boys just straight away, bang. And he went, no, wait a minute. So unzips it, rum buttons it, and he goes, there's a big G on this side and an S on this side. What about that? By the way, never saw that coat again.
But the other end of your career, the back end, obviously, we went to a cup final against Manchester United in 1996, and it was a completely different thing then. What was that like for you, who'd sort of the old school striker at that time, who'd lived through the boot room and then seen the Premier League really take off and this all change?
Yeah, it was all changed, and I say the younger ones came in, and they fancied themselves as well, so the 96 one was, I knew 6 months that I was leaving, so basically I think Barnsley was captain and all that, and then Jamo were always, I think, Armani suits. I think they were Armani suits, so he went to do all that, and I think it was changing. And maybe could we have done more as the older ones? No, we did try, but no, nothing happened. So for me, it was time to move on. Because I wanted to play week in, week out, and Evo was there, and Evo said, basically, you're not going to play week in, week out. So, and I wanted to continue to play. So that's the reason why I left in 96. But yeah, things were changing. I think the fans knew that as well. So it was difficult to try and get back to the old ways, but you have to move with the times, and that's what they did. But at the end of the day, it's all about winning trophies. If you won trophies, we would have got away with them suits if we beat Man United in the final.
Yeah.
We'd
have all been walking around them 2 weeks later. Well, black ones anyway.
Can I have mine now?
Outcome-based analysis.
It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because for me, from the outside looking in, you think about the team and the fact that there's sustained success. I think anyone coming in will respect that these boys know how to win trophies, so I'll fit in. I'll make sure I'm not the big time Charlie, because these guys are winning trophies every year, and that's ultimately what I want to do.
Do you think it can? Could tell the story about what happened the first day of pre-season when you'd won something? When Ronnie would come in.
Oh, no, it's an old tale. He used to come into the dressing room with a cardboard box, didn't he? Put it in the middle in one of the massage tables in the dressing room. He said, "There's the medals for last year, lads. If you think you deserve one, take one."
It's only Kings who went up. Shit ourselves. Then he went, I'm only joking here, Then he said, then he'd go like 2 weeks, 3 times, we're back in training. He'd always be ahead of the time, wouldn't he?
But the Charity Shield was a big one for them.
Yeah.
Because he said they set off the season to be in the Charity Shield the next season. And they said, because that means we've either won the league or won a cup.
Yeah.
Just simple.
Yeah. But that was the mentality, wasn't it? You've won nothing this year.
Aye.
So get reset. Oh, well done. Yeah. But you get nothing for what you've done yesterday. It's what you're going to win tomorrow. Do you know what I think is a good time, though, to go to? I think 85.
86.
Yeah, because this for me is, 85 really is the most fascinating one, because because we've worked on the documentary and it's starting to go down memory lane. You've spoke a little bit and people have heard you speak about when you got given the manager's job, but I'd love to hear Ian's perspective about you go to bed one night, a European Cup final, and that's your strike partner. You wake up the next morning as your manager. How was that transition as a player?
Well, as a player, it was come to complete shock to us, to say the truth, really, there, because I thought maybe keep it in the family. Our first thought was like most probably Phil Neal, because he was captain, wasn't he? Yeah. Because I don't think Jockey didn't want to really be...
Didn't he want to be a footballer?
So when Kenny come in, and it does take a couple of weeks to get you, but again, it was the staff who said, you can't call him Kenny no more, you got to call him boss. And just in the first couple of weeks, they were saying, because obviously, first of all, you call him Kenny, and you said, no, you got to start calling him boss now, and all that. So I think it was the boot room staff was help us to overcome that. He wouldn't mind if you called him Kenny. He wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Did you think he was going to be any good?
Well, I didn't have a clue really to say, because he didn't show the things like the tactics and all that. We just got on. Well, I just got on with it, and it's how you start as well. If you get off to a good start, it does help and all that. But he never changed things. He just kept things similar, everything ongoing as if nothing had happened, and that's a sign of a good manager.
But halfway through the season, you're miles behind Everton, and surely the dressing room's thinking, this Kenny.
Well, to tell you the truth, no, we did. I didn't. Well, for myself and the lads you speak to, but none of the lads said anything about it. No,
But
Alan said,
he said it's the worst Liverpool team I've ever played in.
It takes time to adapt, doesn't it? You know, but we didn't.
But in October, both Phil Neal, who's the most decorated player, played for Liverpool, and Alan Kennedy, who's, when you wouldn't believe, him scoring in 2 cup finals, European Cup finals, a winner. If he asked him to explain it, he couldn't tell you. And when we went to penalties in Roma, and we're sitting and they've missed 2, Nico missed the first one for us, and then we went, oh no, it's Alan Kennedy.
It was.
And before we left to go to Rome to prepare for the game, took penalties, and he went, psh, psh. And by the way, he almost hit the same square on the net every time. You're sitting there and you're going, oh please, just do what he did at training. By the way, he did.
He did, didn't he?
Bang. And that was it.
He was one of them where I think at the time Suey was in the centre circle, only the penalty takers.
Yeah.
And Suey was going, oh, Neil will take the first. They said, I'll take the second. Where the f***'s he going?
That was Steve Nicholl.
He just went up there like, yo, where's he going? Like, so he goes up, he said, oh, forget about it. And weirdly enough, when Nicholl missed, and Maya, I thought, we're not going to win anyway now. Like, so he most probably helped the other players taking the penalties. And it was, but then again, Alan Kennedy kept saying, I'll take one. Sue saying, no, you're not. But we didn't have anyone to take another one.
Wow. Do you know what's interesting though? Because obviously, I know you struggled with missing the banter in the dressing room when you had to leave the dressing room and go in the coaches. That was the thing you missed the most. And he changed, didn't he? You remember when he pulled you about when everyone was being a bit harsh on David Burrows?
Do you really want me to tell that one?
Yeah, that's funny. That's what you can tell that.
We'd all like taking
No,
this was in
training. This was
we're all in the. We all like David Burrows was like a young me. Like when he came in, everyone used to take the Mickey out of him and all that. So we got him, and Kenny said to Ronnie Moran, "Go and take Dave Burrows for a walk. Take him all." And he gets us on and said, "Like you're all a joke." He said, "You've lost his confidence and everything." He said, "I want you to be really nice to him." So we go, okay then, so we get back training. So we all training and Kenny comes out half an hour later, just joins in the games and all that. The first kick he gets it, David Burrows smashes him. He went, you stupid idiot! Do what you want with him! It's funny.
There's still a player in you somewhere.
Aye. He was taking it out of me, but he knocked it out as that David Burrows. No, he was good as gold. Yeah. He was a wee bit naive.
Well, I was worse when I was out there. Then I was made up when we signed Nico. Nico was made up. Like everybody they say Nico wasn't Scottish.
Do you know one of the things, and we'll get that just because Steve Nicholl, the bus journeys that you talk about were some of your happiest times when you're at Liverpool from the training ground. From the stadium to Melwood and back, that's when a lot of the banter happened. But
for training.
Do you want to tell us about Steve Nicholl when he got his Puma money?
No, he never got his money. He was
just
we trained in the morning, right? Came back, you get a wee bit lunch. The bus is waiting for us, so we're just sitting messing about, watching the telly or something in the players' lounge. So it was Charlie's, it was Souness's idea, really, I think. I can't claim that. So he said, speak to the girl on reception, right? I'll tell her that the guy for Puma's been on for, I'll tell Nicholl there's a phone call for him. I said, just give me 5 minutes to walk down there and give the phone a ring. I said, tell him the guy for Puma wants to meet up with him, because he signed a contract with Puma, but they hadn't paid him any money yet. So I said, tell him he wants to meet him at Burtonwood, right? 2 o'clock on Sunday. So she went, oh, okay. So she picked phones. I picked it up. I went, look, Nico, there's a message for you here. So she I can see him going, oh, okay, thank you. Right. So he goes up to see her. She says, he wants to meet you, Buttonwood, 2:00. So we go down in the bus, right? Play the game. I don't even know who we were playing. Forget it all. Come in the Monday, we're all sitting in the bus going down to Melwood, and he goes to Big Jockey, Big Handsy, and went, oh, not going to fall for that one. And he went, Bumper, what are you on about? He says, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying. He went, well, Bumper, all right. He says, I don't know what you're saying, and I don't know why you're like digging me up here. He says, no. He says, 2:00. He said, 2:00 what? He said, 2:00 Buttonwood. Big Handsome went, I've not got he wouldn't know what Buttonwood was, because with it, Big Handsome, he gets lost going out the street, right? So anyway, he says, all right, he says, 2:00 he told me. Buttonwood, Puma. Big Handsome, I never knew. He says, he never turned up. So Big Al went, well, I didn't know anything about it. And he says, did you wait? He says, I waited an hour. I mean, his missus were sitting in Buttonwood for an hour. And when Big Al's telling me, I'm going, oh no. Right? No, I never shoot. As I said, just I got hold of Charlie. I said, Charlie, we forgot to tell him it was only a joke.
Well,
so he turned up.
You used to share the cars with Steve Nicol to go to Scotland games as well, didn't you?
No, I did. I wasn't in the car this time. They were going up. And
he hits himself out of all of that. It wasn't me.
That's not my story to tell. They're going to call him Shaggy. They're going to call him Shaggy, wasn't it? Did you see me at the service station?
No, it wasn't me. I was dropped for the Scottish squad. So anyway, they're driving up the motorway. Wouldn't it be Hanson driving? So it must be somebody else driving. So he's driving. So he went, I said, Bummer, he says, Nick out and clean that mud off the window for us, will you? He went, no problem. He was brilliant, but he was full of energy and everything. But so anyway, he goes out and he wipes all the window. And he went, cheers. Overweight. So he's running up the motorway, he's running up the hard shoulder.
And that's the stuff that you missed then, when you became manager.
They were doing it when he's manager.
Who did he do it to? What did he do? What did he do when he was manager?
I'm not going to say nothing. He's here.
The stories are brilliant. I could listen to them all day. But
but it's no. You're not looking for a league table of importance in there. You're just looking for a laugh. Yeah. And that's but when it came down to the bit, there was no laughing. They were.
Yeah. Everyone wanted to win 100% of the time.
Do you know what? But for me, the interesting bit would be, so you've just become manager, and then you buy a centre forward. Was Paul Walsh already at Liverpool, or did you buy Paul Walsh?
Walsh was there. Joe bought him.
Yeah. So what made you make the choice? And it'd be interesting to hear your perspective, and then what the kind of feeling the dressing room was. So you've been starting to see, you and Rushy, arguably the best partnership in British football history, and you become manager and leave yourself out, and then you've got to find a new partner.
Walsh was already there.
I know, but you were playing with Rushy the season before.
But Walsh had a great start.
Yeah.
He scored about 19 goals or something. Didn't he work? Yeah.
Before he got injured.
He got injured.
He got injured. 18 goals he'd scored, I think.
18. He got injured at Goodison. One of that. Remember, we played in a cup competition, Screen Sport. I think he got injured in playing in one of their games. If not, it was the league game, obviously.
But were you harsh on yourself? Because he had a great start, because you took yourself out.
If I'm standing in the dugout, getting involved in the game, I'm no point in me subbing, because I've already drained half the energy out yourself. So you're not fresh enough to get in. You needed fresh legs. And Ronnie and Roy kept saying, at least put yourself in the sub. So I did it a few times. And then when the wee man got injured, I had to go on. I had to play. There was nobody else. So that was me. Come out of retirement, started playing.
But I think what Paul's getting at is you were the strike partner the year before. So I understand what you're saying about being a substitute and not putting you there, but you were in the team. And then when you became the manager, you weren't in the team. Is that you just being harsh?
Before they offered, I thought I'd done all right.
Yeah.
And then they offered us a job. I said, why did you offer me the job? I said, I thought I was playing well. You demoted me.
I think it's difficult. No, when playing manager, you're playing. You just concentrate on maybe selfish on playing, and manager, you got to do both. Because I remember when Walshy came out the dressing room and he said, he was a bit disappointed. He said, Kenny just told me I'm not playing in the final. He said, well, he said he scored like 18 or 19 goals as well. And he said, I couldn't do anything about it because it was Kenny Dalglish anyway. He's better than me. So he accepted it.
Because Walshy was fit by the end of the season.
Yeah, he was, at the end of the season, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the second half of that season, you are back in the side. And what's it like in the dressing room then for you, Ian? I mean, the manager's not been playing, then the manager's playing. It's just the way it just wouldn't happen today, would it? You couldn't have a player manager at the top level.
And we just got on with it as we normally do. Really, if he's when he's on the pitch, he wasn't manager; he's a player. When you treat him as a player, it's just like if he's done anything wrong, you say call to him. Unlucky there, boss.
Took a bubble at Wembley.
No, I should have moved.
Oh, yeah. No, but it was just one of them things. As a player, we just got on with it.
But it was just, we said it before, it was just everyone was equal.
Yeah.
Everyone was equal.
But and just
it is a team sport as well. Yeah. A lot of people forget that.
What's probably hard to understand now, because I used to go to training with you a little bit and kick the ball against the wall, but even the staff, even Ronnie Moran, Roy Evans, they would join in and they'd have the staff match on a Friday. So the staff you're always used to playing with the staff anyway, really. But that don't know, that might help. Would you say that helped the transition? Because it was normal for staff to play with players.
Really?
Right. But the hardest part for me in the transition was telling one of the boys or reading out a team and one of them was no playing. And there was only one sub. And I tell you, that was the hardest part. Because everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to play. And you just go to... You go and you think about the team and how you're going to do it, what you're going to do, and you go, well, that's what it should be. So why would you change it to something else? So if you don't stand by it, when I left, that's why I left, because I would make a decision and then sort of hesitate, and that's rubbish. I can't. You're no fair to the club if you're doing that.
Yeah, you're talking about when you left as a manager. Yeah, 91,
and it was the boys. You're upsetting the lads, and that was somebody you shared the dressing room with, but you were only doing it for spite. There was nothing, no rhyme or reason other than football that you would leave somebody out.
But then, obviously, you put yourself back in the team, and then from Hanson's famous opinion that it was the worst Liverpool team he's ever played in, to win, which was both of yours. Obviously, everyone talks about the game at Stamford Bridge because you scored the winner. But equally, for you, Rushy, your first FA Cup for both of you, the win and scoring 2 goals must have been unbelievable.
Well, you can talk about his goal at Chelsea first.
Yeah.
If he can remember it.
23 minutes.
Oh, there we go.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, only because I know the ref told us to be calm down.
I'll tell you, just before that, we were playing, Everton were playing Oxford in midweek, I think. We beat them, and I think, was it Oxford beat Everton?
They beat Oxford beat Everton, we beat Leicester.
Yeah.
Right? And when we got, I still had to win at Chelsea to win the league. And I remember just going in them days, I was with Yamon, we after the games on a Tuesday, we went to a nightclub on the Whittle, and I think Gary Stephen and two Everton's walk in, and Jan just starts, we're going to win the league. And I'm saying, Jan, we haven't won it yet. We'll be all right. And then we get to the Saturday.
Yeah.
You can tell us how we scored the winning goal.
They get beat with West Ham, didn't they? Was it West Ham?
No, that was
that was
Oxford,
that's when we get beat by Arsenal.
So the Chelsea,
but the last game,
Chelsea, when you a bit of a volley, wasn't it? Like,
It was Jim Begley.
Yeah,
is in the box.
aye, flicked it on.
Yeah. What was he doing there? Was that
Don't
your
know.
tactics?
See the left back.
Inverted
You
full
don't know
back.
you don't know what the left backs were going to do between him and Alan Kennedy. You don't know where to find them.
It's unbelievable. It's 11 and 12. You win at the back end of that season. You get the double as well. I mean, and you score 2 in the final that season as well against Everton, don't you, Ian?
yeah, it was something special for me. As a kid, I dreamed of scoring a win goal in the FA Cup final. It wasn't the European Cup, it wasn't the League Cup, it wasn't the league. And in them days, when I was a kid, then I used to watch it at 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I used to go out pretending I was that person in the back garden, pretending I was that person who scored the goal. And they won everything, but 1986, that's when my dream came true. When Gary Lineker scores the first goal. I think more like Ronnie Moran and all, because Kenny was playing then and all that. They were sort of took over and they said, well, you need to just need to up 10, 20% up your game. You can still win. They're giving you belief that you can still win the game.
Yeah.
So when I scored the goal there, the first goal to equalise, I knew we were going to win then. I think we all knew that we were going to win. And then Craig Johnson scores a second, and Cruggy scores a second. He tried to claim the first from me as well. And then I scored. Then I scored the third goal to win a double. And again, that was when, looking back now, if you're looking, I think in the last minute, I was through on keeper.
You should have squared
and
it.
all he is, Jan Moby, take the piss. So I tried to take the piss and missed. I tried to, honestly.
If you squared it, I would have tapped it in.
You'd have missed.
He did. He missed the one Hansen square to him.
Offside.
Spin on the ball.
It was behind me.
Yeah, the Old
Like a
Trafford
pantomime
one.
villain.
The Old Trafford one was offside. I was stupid in the first place because when I came back with their defence,
I won't miss it.
Wasn't me.
it was me. I
knew it was offside.
I came back to stay onside, and Big Hanson's chipped it over the top.
Yeah,
I remember.
And then he's realised what he's done. He's clear and goal. And the goalkeeper ran backwards. Gary Bailey ran backwards. And I'm running to keep up with Big Al. And he went, and I thought, here it comes. And I've squared up, shoulders toward the goal. And didn't he come? So I went, oh no. So I'm trying to stop and come back. He squared it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm about, I'm not even 6 feet.
Right
Right in front of his Stretford then.
Just give in. Just like
I put my leg back that way and went, what's that?
How did you tell the story?
And the wee flag was like that, the wee line roll was like that. I went, you're right. That's the first time I've not criticised a referee or a linesman, for waving for offside.
The goal, I think, both goals from that season are just so iconic. The chest and the volley at Stamford Bridge, and then the one where you break the camera, and you've got a funny story about that as well. That for me is one of the iconic Liverpool goals, because that was the one that sealed.
Yeah, that was the one that sealed the double 3-1. I think it was only about 83rd minute, something like that. Like then, when you win the double, you win everything, and that's the end of the season. Then, then you're off for like 3 or 4 weeks. Then you go back to pre-season, and in the old days, you go back pre-season. Anyone sent you a letter, it's all where you're sitting. All the letters used to be up there, and you used to open them yourselves. Or kind of an autograph and things like that. And I opened this one. There's a fucking bill for 250 quid on the camera. I got charged. The cameraman sent me a bill for 250 quid, and I didn't pay him.
Was it one of yours? Was it one of your tricks, that bill?
Yeah. Oh no, there'd be more than that if I'd have. Do you think it was Harry Omisher's camera? I think so.
Do you know what was? You spoke about playing at one of the most important things for you when coming down from Scotland was you wanted to go on a tour of the city.
Aye.
Now, from your perspective, how special was that? The moments when you've won the double and then you're going round the city centre on the bus.
I don't remember. I was pissed.
That's the best answer.
It's just absolutely unbelievable.
There's stories of people going downstairs a lot on those buses, isn't there? Because there's so much ale being drunk.
We used to go
they used to get out the bus.
toilets. You come to someone's house.
Somebody's door. Can you use the toilet?
We did, wasn't it?
Can you use the toilet?
Yeah, can you use the toilet, please? Yeah.
Imagine that. You sat there watching Coronation Street and in your socks on your tongue. They're in there. And they're like, don't leave the seat open.
I know,
Yeah, like Hansen did it.
Did he?
They couldn't catch up in the bus.
What? Speaking the booth, because a lot of it revolves around drink, and there's another
was
story
orange juice.
about when Steve Nicol got out of the bus to get some beer on it.
Oh, that was coming back for a testimonial in Dundee, and this Carlsberg van, something right went past. You know, the Carlsberg written all over it, so it must have worked for Carlsberg, deliver Carlsberg. So, but nobody's bothered. So he
Stuck
comes
in
up the
traffic
bus.
then,
He's stuck in traffic. He goes up and says, "Never." I said, "What?" He said, "We just passed a Carlsberg bus."
Are you the manager at the time?
Aye.
Right.
He says, "Can I run back to see if he's got any lagers?" I said, "What?" I said, "He's miles behind." I said, "Aye, on you go." Right. So he runs all the way back, and we hadn't moved. Or he just started moving a wee bit.
Yeah.
Next thing is the chap at the door. He's got back in time, isn't he? The guy delivered all the lag. Or either that, he drank them all on the way back down.
You just wouldn't get that type of stuff today, would you? That's the funny thing, isn't it? I mean, before we move on, I do want to ask, what is your favourite assist, Ian, of Kenny's for you?
Assist.
Yeah, from Kenny.
I would most probably say there's one at Notts Forest, but the two I remember is the Watford one when he sort of like turned and then he put it exactly where, and also against Notts Forest as well. Two similar goals actually. But they would be the ones where it meant I knew where he's going to put the ball. I've told you before, I knew where he's going to put the ball. The defenders, because especially look at the Watford one. I went to go and I realised he wasn't ready, so I come back again. Then he put the ball right in front of me there, and I put it away with my left foot.
The interesting thing about that goal though is the defender. Because the defender hasn't got a clue where he's putting the ball, because he changes his line, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
and
changes,
you keep wide, knowing that it's going to go that side.
But I went to go first, but I seen him go as well. So that's when I stopped, and then Kenny put it just in front of him. So,
and that was training ground stuff, or just playing together for years. Or
I just knew he could put the ball there. Simple as that.
Yeah. That's what he said earlier about two big centre backs. They had two big ones.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the guy couldn't turn, could he?
Well, one of them was on the floor after your turn, to be fair.
I know, but the other one went to go for it, and then couldn't you reach it, couldn't you move the other way?
Do you know the thing, just on that?
Forrest was a late goal.
Yeah, it was a late one, yeah.
Joe was in charge, wasn't he?
I think he might have been there, yeah.
Do you know, you said on a podcast, and you're not very good at you're not very good at telling people to the face, right, how you feel about them. It's the way you've been brought, but you said on the Overlap podcast that the player you found that was the best one for you was Rushy. Do you want to tell him in person?
Oh, he knows that. He knows that.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't heard it before. What was that again?
Take away the goal, right? Because he never scored. Probably his most impressive performance was against West Ham in the League Cup final replay.
Second game, yeah.
2-1.
Yeah. I think you and Jockey scored that, didn't you?
Scottish victory. The Welsh could never get there, could they? So he hit one in the volley. It was half a volley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sliding to hook it.
Just aside the bar as well. It was quite funny about that game.
Why you never scored? I don't know.
We in the final we had the pre-match and not pre-match. We had the lunch and all that. And Bob named the team, and he named me in it, and I was actually rooming with him because Suey was injured. And I actually roomed with him, so...
But that was an enjoyable experience.
So I just go, did he mention my name there? And he went, yeah. So I'm thinking, am I really starting the game? I didn't know what to do. I went, that's a question, am I really starting? Yes! And then just before that, Suey came in, he was injured. Suey came up, because you must be normally room with him. Yeah. And Suey said, you know you're playing? I went, well, I know now, like, but I wasn't sure I was going to play, because he just said the team, that was it. He never said, oh, you're doing this and all. He just named the team, Bob did. And I wasn't sure whether I was starting or not.
Would Bob have come to you before and asked what you thought? Like, because obviously you at the time, Rushy's a young player. You're kind of...
There was about 10 injured. That's why I played.
But he played before that at Ipswich.
Yeah. You were, instead
Ipswich
of you.
away on the Saturday.
How quickly did you know, like, he was the one for you, that this partnership was gonna flourish? Like, how many
we only
games
played
in?
football together. We never get married.
Well, to be fair, I've heard the story about pre-season. No, I've heard the story about pre-season, but you're saying it was only football. But is it true or not true that you shared a pina colada? One pina colada, 2 straws.
Oh, this pre-season. Yeah. Oh, that wasn't nice.
No, we got one. I said 2. He said, no, just get 1. The next thing, 2 straws. If anyone watching us here, by the way, we had that tops off as well.
2 spoons.
And I won pool.
Oh no, it was last game the winner.
Yes.
Aye.
How many did you win before the last game?
11, he lost. He won one, right?
11.
I was 5-0 up, right? He won one. I went in off the black, and he said, "That's my game," you know. Fair enough. Then I won another 3. Then and he won one. Said, "Game over. That's me finished now. You're as good as your last game."
Okay, you've been saying that for years.
Just from my, we'll get to the next bit of it. But for me, like, even just hearing that story, like playing golf with him, playing like his will to win, was it like that as a player as well? Like, I think for me that was one of the things that, even just this on, I know I've mentioned it before, but his will to win, I was like, it's in everything he does, and I think that's kind of, he drags other people with him to win, and not always in a pleasant way.
Well, sometimes you've got to be kind, nice to people, and also be, telling the truth. Really, it's telling the truth, and it's football. That's why it's the hardest thing for a manager is telling those who are not playing, not those who are playing. Those who are not playing, and keeping them happy. So, but at the time, everyone wants to win. You shouldn't be in the game unless you want to win. And some people do anything to win, but at the end of the time, you want to go there, try your best, give 100%, and that's all you can do.
You had that. You were player manager, weren't you? Was it Wrexham?
No, player coach.
Player coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and that's the reason why I went to Wrexham. And Joey Jones, he's one that got me to go. Like, and I realised, I wasn't, after 6 months, it wasn't for me, and I told Joe, he said, well, come and help with the reserves. Joe was in charge of reserves, and I used to go with Joe. We just sit there, listen to him, like, talking and all that, and so at the end of the season, I'd had enough there, really, and I went to manage Chester for about
10 minutes.
Yeah, about 30 games. But I got played them up. The manager a month, 2 months running. So then obviously, enough getting on with it. When sometimes if you don't get on with the chairman, it's always going to be difficult. So I just decided enough's enough, me. And again, when you're managing a team, it's even like any team now, it's like 24/7, and that takes a lot of doing. And I realised that really wasn't for me.
That's not probably, it's not that common knowledge, but even when I was taking my coaching badge, I spoke to you a little bit, because people don't know how involved you were with the Welsh FA as well. It's a passion of yours, isn't it, really, the coaching education? Yeah,
I was a lead performance director of the Welsh FA. I still am doing things, and I learned a lot as well. Where I managed Wales under 17. I was offered the Welsh job before John Toshak took it second time. No, I didn't feel, I was a manager at Chester. I didn't feel I was ready. I thought I was too young. But obviously, I may be looking nicer now. Do I take it? I'm glad I didn't take it, because it was wouldn't have been easy. They maybe remember me as a manager rather than as a player. So that's why I decided to move on.
Yeah. To the last bit then.
Yeah, I think so. We do have to talk about Hillsborough before we go. Obviously, it's a big part of the documentary because it's been a big part of both of your lives. Everybody's life who lives in this city, unfortunately, it's been a big part of. Now, in the documentary, you know, there's a large portion of it dedicated, and I think it's brilliant as a Scouser myself who grew up in Liverpool in that time, who remembers those scenes, admittedly as a child on the television, I remember it. But I remember everything that happened around it. And, you know, I thought the documentary dealt with that beautifully, actually. But Ian, as a player going through that season, you know, Kenny's had his story been told a long time, but I don't think a lot of the players have really spoken out about that season. How difficult was it for you? Well,
it was difficult. That was the season I had quite a lot of injuries as well. You know, I was in and out of the team, you know, and... you know, when Nils was there, I was on the bench. You know, so you most probably see more when you're on the bench rather than when you're playing. You don't know what's happening, and you know it was very difficult. After that, you know, we travelled by coach to the hospitals, and there, you know, Kenny said we're all going, and you know, that's when sunk in. You know, it was something really, really, you know, bad, really, something not good. And one thing though, remember one time when someone was in a coma and we had players talking and he woke up after the coma. So that's a good thing in a way, you know, apart from that, but there are some good things about it. So for that gave us, you know, it doesn't get any better than this. But when you go all that, you realise, you know, it's something. Again, Kenny said, listen, people take it differently. He said, if you want 4 weeks off, take 4 weeks off. If you want to come back after a week, it's people take it differently, you know, and that's the time when do you actually start back training? Or no, you said it's up to you. You take as long as you want, and that helped as well.
Did you, because the Anfield opened up, doesn't it? And I'm trying to think now, if Anfield opened up now, the players it'd be very difficult with security now as well, and players players were counselling families as well.
Well, we have to do, I think, well, obviously, Kenny and Marina, I think they went to virtually every funeral, like, you know, and we'd go, if it was like in Wales, you know, I would go and all that, or on the Whittle, and that myself and Jan would go and all that. So, so we'd done a bit, you know, we'd done our best anyway, you know, to see what we could do, and the families appreciated that. But, no, it's always difficult.
Do you know what's funny? Because, obviously I was young, but now there'd be psychologists, there'd be therapists, there'd be counsellors, there'd be everything around the players. But the players would just almost like work it out yourself and do what you feel is natural. And you were almost forced into a role where you weren't prepared for.
No, we weren't prepared for it. But like I say, you know, it's individual, wasn't it? It's all about the individual.
And you hope nobody is going to go through a similar phase as what the players did. But there's no point in the boys who, if they're footballers, right, and they're looking forward to a semi-final, there's no way in this world do you want them to be playing if they didn't think they were ready to play.
Yeah.
And you knew the players well enough to know that if they would be 100% honest and saying we're not quite right. And when we went back up to play the first game against Celtic, which was an unbelievable occasion, right? It was the same thing. A lot of the boys came up, didn't necessarily want to start. Just take your time. And I started. It was the only time I started. I mean, Jesus Christ. And the rest of them just took their time, came on, and then we played that game. We come back and we played Everton, drew 0-0. And to be fair, they never got over it, but they were getting a bit better. And that was in their own mind. In their own mind, they wanted to win that cup. They wanted that. And I'm not saying that wasn't why we lost the league to Arsenal. Because we focused on both of them, right? But when you go through the timetable of what happened, they had the trauma of the game. Then, as Tosh said, they went on the Monday to the hospital to see the people, all the patients that were there. Come up here, we went round to see the kids here. The FA's putting them the club under pressure. They're going to throw them out the tournament if they don't play the game. It was just a whole culmination of things coming towards them. Meeting the families in and around Anfield. I think it was a great example of when people say, "Oh, Liverpool work for the locality or for the people in it. They want to look after the fans." This was a great example of how appreciative the players were to the people who supports them. Mm-hmm. And that even if we hadn't won the cup, right, that was a great thing that they could take away from the disaster that happened. But to have to listen to the garbage that they were speaking was atrocious.
It almost couldn't have been a better team to play in the final in some ways, Everton, because of the relationship between the two clubs back then as well.
And it was a wee bit unfair what they had to put up with, because they couldn't win, could they? They couldn't win. Yeah. Even if they beat us, how can they celebrate? But to be fair, when they had opened the ground, as Paul says, on the Sunday morning or Monday, Peter Robinson opened the gates and let them come in and walk around. Evertonians that had never been in Anfield came to show their respect. And I think that was a great tribute to the city.
It was a little bit different then, the relationship between Liverpool and Everton, though, where it was a little bit more friendly than what it is now. You would have Evertonians that would sit in amongst Liverpool fans during games. It was still a rivalry on the pitch, and it was a fierce rivalry, but it was more... But I thought Evertonians deserved an unbelievable amount of credit for the way they...
When they did the Jota and the Derby, the Evertonians, right, every single one of them were clapping hands, right? Yeah. No, I've never seen anything mentioned about that, which is terrible. That's garbage. They should get headlines for being supportive. That's the biggest rival, and they're applauding the boy who unfortunately lost his life.
And they're always first. Everton, they're always first. If tragedy sort of strikes, we saw it in the summer, unfortunately, as well, after the parade. Everton were there. They're always there for us, aren't they? And that's this city and the people of this city.
It's Liverpool first, football second, isn't it? At all times. And and that's lovely, because that was something that was important to you at the time. You always sat next to you and you were like, that you were watching the Everton fans and were like, just wanted to praise the Everton fans.
Be given credit for what they did. Yeah. It's easy when it's criticising somebody in it. Yeah. But they were superbly supportive of that.
The bit that hasn't really been spoken about is, and never, I don't even remember it, really. It was only 12, but the Everton game, I remember the Forest game, but the first game back after was Everton, wasn't it, in the league?
No.
But was that just a game to just kind of reset? And was it almost the idea, like, was it an intense derby? Was it what type of
We're going for the league.
Yeah.
Weren't we?
I don't remember the game. It must have been on the bench.
but then obviously remembers the Forest game.
You might not have been fit.
I don't think it was, no.
Because your first game back was the replay of the game.
Yeah.
At Old Trafford.
Yeah, I was on the bench there, yeah.
Yeah. But then obviously you fast forward to the final, and you said like the game that you dreamed of scoring in was the FA Cup final. Yeah. And then 89, John Aldridge obviously has been unbelievable that season, and he scored, I think he scored 2, didn't he, against Nottingham Forest? Against Forest. Okay. He scored 2 against Forest in the semi to get to the final. He scored in the final. And then you've made the decision to bring on Ian with, and I think if you watch the footage, like the distraught in Aldo's face. I think it was a hot day as well, by the way. I think and people were getting tired. Yeah. Well, emotional stress and fatigue as well. You can imagine the pressure, and that's the big thing. And I want to get to your decision about bringing on Rushy, because obviously you were wearing a big coat as well for superstition. It was boiling as well.
I lost half a stone that day.
But the like, what was the build up to that game like, Ian?
Well, we tried to treat it as normal, really.
Yeah.
You know, I think we go down there 2 days before the game. We still staying Watford, or
We did go down 2 days.
yeah, we go down instead of 1 day. We go down 2 days before, and the build up for everything. You know, you don't know what. But when you're starting and when you're on the bench, for me, two different things.
Yeah.
When I started in '86, I was thinking about the game and everything
Yeah.
there. And weird enough, in '89, when I was on the bench, I went out and I swear I've never seen anything for my life. Everywhere was red and blue, red and blue. They normally have the Liverpool end and the Everton end. And
Yeah.
maybe that's the first and only time you see two teams where. And in my head, I was thinking, where do I do to? Where do I run to when I score? I'm not even on the pitch yet, but I was thinking like, fucking, I need to get in there. I didn't know what to do, so that was in my mind as a substitute to doing that. So I was lucky enough to get on because it's like I said, it was a hot day and everything, and people were getting tired. So, but luckily, we managed to win the game.
Yeah.
But Aldo deserved to start the game
Yeah,
because of what he'd done.
yeah,
He was in the semi-final. He was brilliant, right? And the other games, he was in there. And sometimes the two he's played up front.
yeah.
You said that, by the way, they were a decent partnership.
Yeah, we all scored.
Yeah.
One of us always scored. Like when we played
And then,
together.
obviously, they'd be sitting. If Aldo hadn't have done well, which he did do well because he scored the first one, right? If Aldo hadn't have done well, they're sitting waiting for Russia to come on. It was a nice present for them, wasn't it? No, but it was. So it wasn't about 11 men starting the game. It was 12, 13 or 14 for us. He comes on, scores two. Surprise, surprise.
And to be fair, that we'll get to, but your little dance. Do you want to talk us through the little dance? Were you and John Barnes that went across? Where did that come from?
I don't know anything what Barnesy did. I didn't dance anyway, but I thought Barnesy was a dancer. No, you just don't know what it is. You just everyone goes out and just jump on him like doing the little twist.
That was the best feeling. You've said that the only trophy that you ever won with Liverpool that was different was that one. Did you feel? Did that feel different?
Well, I'm glad we won it. You see,
Yeah.
and like I said, if Everton would have won it, it would have been, Everton in a no-win situation, aren't
Yeah.
they? So I think it's one I'll always remember.
Yeah.
86 and then in 89 FA Cup finals, but 189 was more for the city,
Yeah.
rather than the individuals.
And it was. Do you know what? I when I watched it again, because obviously we relived it recently, it couldn't be more dramatic. Like everyone wants Liverpool to win, really, and then Everton score in the last minute to take it to extra time.
It's mad though, isn't it? And when we went 2-1 up, they get back to 2-2.
Yeah.
And so only time, I think it's the only time when both substitutes, McCall scored 2 for Everton, didn't he? He came on a sub.
Yeah.
And I came on a sub. I think it's the only time in the final where 2 subs have scored 2 goals.
Brilliant.
Well, it's such a responsibility that day for everybody involved, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the final thing we need to talk about is how many times you signed Ian Rush. Kenny, how did it come about? First of all, you were manager when he left. How did Ian come to you? Or did he go above to say that he wanted to leave?
No, I don't think there was any conversation about he wanted to leave. I think it was the Italians came in for him.
Yeah.
And it was a record-breaking transfer at the time
And
as well.
the people upstairs said, look, you see, this is impossible for us. We can't, we don't want him to go, but there's such a good price or whatever it was. And I said, well, all right. I said, if that's what you say, because to be fair, them upstairs never ever, right, try to interfere. Never tried to interfere. They were brilliant. And they got the deal done, and with a good laugh at one of the press boys, because they were writing stories. There must have been rumours going on for about 6 months before that in the paper, right? And they came into the office for the press conference before the game, and I said, "Look," I says, "the stories about garbage, right? No, this was like 6 months before." I said, "They'll not be going anywhere." I said, "But if there is something happening, then we'll not make you look stupid. The club will tell you." So anyway, a couple of weeks later, there's another story comes out about going to, I think it was Milan. So I went, I said to the press boy who came down the corridor, I said, no, you're not coming in. Get lost. You're barred. He went, but I said, look, I asked you to do a favour, right? You never did it, so get lost. He's not going to get anything kept back from him because the rest of them were all close, tight bunch, so they're going to give him something. And then, about 2 weeks after that, he says, popped his head out the players' lounge. He went, Kenny, he says, am I still banned? I says, aye. He says, is it a life ban? I says, depends how long you live. So that was, and then obviously he did go. And before that, we got Aldo in it. About the January transfer window.
January, yeah.
He came in, so he got a bit of time. He's bed in whilst Russia was there, and they played well together as well.
Was it the same from your end? You didn't want to,
No, I didn't.
Were those rumours true that Kenny was batting away? I'm saying.
No, people come to see you. About agents and that coming and all that, and basically I was happy where I am. But at the end of the day, but I say financially for the club and also for myself. You look at the time then all the best players in the world were in Italy. Wales are not qualified for a major tournament or anything, so I wanted to see financially secure my family. No, that was for me. That was important as well. But I also wanted to pit my wits against the best players in the world who were in Italy at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But then, Paul, your dad signs him back, and like, it was a big shock to everybody. How did you find out that Ian was available?
I think we were at Real Sociedad. I think we were playing the pre-season event, and Peter Robinson gave us a tug. He said, we've got a chance to get Rushy back. I said, go for it. So that was it. I don't know it.
Did you think about the team? Did you think about anything? Or did you just think, I want Ian Rush back?
Well, I'd rather have him playing for us than against us. I think that would be
sensible
for everybody. And that was it.
I think from my side, I was just at home one night and I get a phone call, and it was Alex Ferguson from Man United. He says, I want you to sign for Manchester United. I said, I'm not for sale. He said, yes, you are. So I put the phone down, and honestly, within 15 minutes later, from Colin Harvey, who's manager of Everton. Yeah. So Colin Harvey gets up, he says, you're in Everton as sports as a kid now, I want you to come back to Everton. Yeah. I said, I'm not for sale. He said, you are. So 10 minutes after that, Suey rang me up, he's at Rangers. So he said, I want you to sign for Rangers. I want to be the Catholic that come to Rangers and all that. And I said, I'm not for sale. He said, yes, you are. Then I must have realised I was for sale. You're
not for sale, sir.
Then again, I got a phone call from Uli Younes, who was at Bayern Munich, because Mark Hughes had just signed for Bayern Munich. Then about 9 o'clock at night, I get a phone call. It was Kenny. He said, listen, you're signing for Liverpool. He said, I've got you on the flight. I'm going to meet you at Manchester Airport, and you're signing for Liverpool. I said, okay. And I came back, nothing about money. So, I was just so happy to get back.
So you didn't even know what the offers the other clubs were going to make?
No, didn't see nothing, no.
It's amazing.
So who was it? Manchester United, Rangers, Bayern Munich,
Everton
as well.
Yeah, they all rang, yeah.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Rightly so, though. You were arguably the greatest striker in the world at that point in time as well, weren't you?
Well, I'm glad you said it.
Kenny definitely won't say it.
Am I going to negotiate?
Unbelievable. Gentlemen, I think it's been absolutely unbelievable. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And by the way, he did that well. He ended up getting a free.
He ended up what?
He ended up getting a free for Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I signed him for Newcastle.
Yeah, but he went to Leeds first.
Yeah.
Did you go to Leeds from Liverpool? So how did you sign him for Newcastle?
The both is, right? Playing in a testimonial match. John Charles.
John Charles.
John Charles.
Oh, that was a good one.
Hey.
Yeah. I had we playing Everton as well, wasn't it? I came back with John Charles testimonial. I was at Juventus.
Yeah.
And they come back and it's Platini, wasn't it? You turned out and Shirea, the centre back for Juventus. So because John Charles played for Juventus, they sent Platini, me, and this Shirea, the centre back, to play. And Kenny turned up as a guest as well, and we beat Everton. I scored a hat trick in that game as well. So Kenny made one, and Platini made two or something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Platini was much better. Yeah.
No,
twice the player.
But then again, when I signed I was at Leeds, I had the argument with George Graham, and he said I was there for 1 year and I had 2 years to go, and he said you need to get yourself a club because I don't want you at Leeds. And I said, pay me up. And I go, and said, you're not getting a penny out of this club and anything like that. So, there's 5 of us. I think there was like me, Tony Yeboah, Carlton Palmer, Tony DeRigo, and he told us, I want you all to leave. Like that. So, find yourselves out of the club and that. Then I'm prepared to stay because I said, no, I'll tell you, Steve McMahon to come in for me, he's manager of Swindon. So then, unfortunately, I think Alan Shearer broke his leg at Everton in pre-season. Did he?
It was his ankle, wasn't it? Yeah,
It was ankle. And they had. Then Kenny rang me up. He said, "Are you fit?" I said, "Well, I hope I am. I'm training with the kids." And so basically, George Graham wanted 250 grand for me, and I went on a free. So Kenny then he said, I'll give you a year contract. He said, but just tell them you're coming on trial. I don't even remember that. So I said to George, I'm going on trial at Newcastle. He said to prove me fitness he said, if you go there, you can't come back. I went, okay, then I'm not coming back because he'd already guaranteed me a year. So I'll never forget him for that, as well.
Have you told him did Leeds not have the same fitness coach that you had when you were at Blackburn?
They did. No, at Newcastle.
No, but the fitness coach at Blackburn, when you were Eddie or whatever.
Yeah, it was at Newcastle.
Yeah.
And Leeds.
Yeah.
He's the one that said, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because did you not ask him what shape's Rushy in?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You did.
He did, yeah, I know.
You're not going to be nice, are you?
No, we were. Because we trained them every single day. They didn't give us a day off. So it was 4 or 5. We're fitted in any of them because we're training every single day.
It's a group of players, those 5 players, by the way.
But we got a third round FA Cup, Everton at Goodison.
Oh, yeah.
And it signed John Barnes as well. So we get second half, Gladys Street end. Barnsley takes it up. We step to the side. We lob to the far post. Thank you.
No, that was the third round, and it was really cold. And I think Tino Spreer was playing, wasn't he? And obviously it's a bit cold for him. So he went after time, get yourself warmed up. You're coming on and all that. And I was warmed up. I was getting absolutely hammered on the sideline, but I was laughing because I was used to that. Then I went, come on, and for Barnsley to cross in to tap him, and we beat him 1-0, didn't we?
By the way, I know. I only saw Barnes at the end, but what a player! Was he that good, Rushy, in his prime?
No, if you're saying training, you want to rest, give Barnsley the ball for 5 minutes. No one will get the ball off him. No. he was so good,
Because I think probably we don't speak about John Barnes as highly as others because Liverpool went in Europe at the time.
Yeah,
and you never really saw him play dominate European competition, but at Anfield
he was fantastic, wasn't he?
But it doesn't matter what other people say, does it? It doesn't matter. We knew how good he was. I'm grateful for how good he was.
Yeah.
So I don't see if other people have got a problem, well, keep going. They might have some other ones, which will only help us.
I mean, one of the best seasons I ever saw was Luis Suarez. We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? 13, 14 and stuff. But I remember, speaking to my dad about that season, and he's like, Barnes was the same. Barnes would have you up off your seat as soon as he picked the ball up. Yeah. And they're the special breed of player, aren't they?
But it is that because you can be effective. You can score goals. I think it was 40-odd goals you scored in one season.
84,
and then you can have the season. Yeah. But it was every time Suarez and Barnes got the ball, you just thought something was going to happen.
Yeah, the special players, aren't they? The people want to watch and all that. Very flair and everything. But I think Barnsley ended up top goal scorer 1 or 2 years as well. So it wasn't just skill; he scored a lot of goals as well. Yeah.
Did he play up front one season?
Back, didn't he?
Did he play up front one season? What season
Sometimes he
was
used to play up front.
He played up front for Watford. We beat them 4-3 at Anfield one day.
Yeah.
He played up front then.
He could have played then.
But the game against QPR, they were top of the league.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Goal. That was a goal, yeah.
Just slalom through them.
Yeah.
And it was on his right foot and you're going, oh no. Bang, bang, bang. Who's the goalie? Digweed, was it? Perry Digweed,
QPR,
no?
was it?
Aye, no.
Was it the Welsh lad?
Well, three of them wouldn't have saved it anyway.
I'm going to ask one more thing. I'm going to try again with your dad, to be honest. What made Ian Rush great?
Done everything he said.
Very good answer. And I think that was the beauty of Liverpool Football Club.
Everyone did what you said.
There was a prominent first division manager, went to see him and wouldn't sign him. And old Bob went, there you are, we love him. Mind you, he was 44 at the time.
Oh, go on. So I'm going to push you. What made him special? Come on. For once in your life, try and be nice about someone. I don't even want it to be me.
He's giving up. First time was
It's a No, I'm trying to frame it properly. It's all very well and good somebody being good, right? If you've not got the people around about you that's on the same wavelength as you, it's no good. You can't play, can you? So if I've got an understanding and just saying a simple thing to him, Russie, move in, but if it's space there, go, because that's where I want to play it. Well, I think that's sensible. It's no, I don't think it's Einstein theory, is it? It's sensible, because they can't get it. And he's gone that way anyway. He's going to get it. But he needs to have the intelligence that he's going to go there, or when to go there. And the guy that's in possession is comfortable. It's a simple pass. But the pass is only made with his run. As much as he says he ran and the ball came to him, no, if he doesn't run, the ball doesn't come to him. It won't get there. So the intelligence he had when he was playing up front, not just when I had it, but when all of them had it, makes it, well, you're a hell of a player. You've got a hell of a chance if you get a good footballing brain and sense.
I think as a striker, I think you said, I think the first 2 yards are in your head.
Yeah.
You know, that must make you the I can say, I think you can teach play. I think you can teach like a £5 million player to be a £15 million player, but you're not going to teach a £100 million player to be a £200 million player, because I think the first 2 yards is in your head.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a difference from a striker. You're thinking that a little bit quicker.
And do you know, like the two of the greatest players that have ever played for Liverpool, but sometimes it's hard to explain why. You know, and for me, I think sometimes what you two almost seemed like you could just look at each other and you knew what the other one was thinking or what the other one wanted without even having to say anything or without having to think.
But it's, by the way, the people who you play with are probably more important in their abilities to help you, right, and do their job properly than what you are yourself. You do your job properly as part of somebody else who does their job. And if you all do your job to a high level, by the way, you're a hell of a squad to beat. And I said before, and it's no try to avoid answering any questions, the club and the players, they're the most important. The players have got to understand the club, they've got to understand the football, and they've got to be in a dressing room where it's 100% for each of them. And if somebody's in a wee bit soapy, they're going to help them. If somebody's in a wee bit trouble, they'll help them. And if you don't work for and with each other, you're not going to win anything. You're not going to win anything.
That's the saying, like, I'm not saying this old school now, we got told when you score a goal, run over to the person who made it. Because if they'll do it again. If you don't run now, they say, no, I'm not passing to him. Like, and that's what we got off. So every time you score, you really just go run on to say thank you for the person who made it.
Yeah.
And do you have the same mentality as Kenny then, and in why he was great?
Yeah, it's the same, because you're putting the club first. Like I say, my right to go out there, play like we win first and score was second. And that's what people talk about. It's a team game where people say, like, say for Ronnie Whelan, for instance, right? Ronnie Whelan was the king, right, of intercepting play. And he used to get hammered sometimes. In fact, when people forget, he'd sit there, give the ball to Kenny or Suey then, and he put a great ball for me to score. And everyone said, what a great goal by me, or what a great pass for Kenny or Suey. Everyone forgets what Ronnie Whelan does, but we don't. We know that, what it took for him to... He was the master of intercepting play from the opposition to give it back to other people.
Well, I remember I was speaking with Bruce, and he said Liverpool won when Ronnie Whelan played in the centre of the park, and that's how he felt.
For the younger generation, it was almost... Jordan Henderson went through something similar.
Okay, yeah.
At Liverpool, would you say? He kind of took some stick a little bit at the beginning, but every time he was in the team...
It's only when they're missing they realise.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If everybody is committed, doing the job, they're not always going to play well, but the intention's always going to be there. Then fine, as long as they can maintain the level of expectancy for themselves and no shy away or try to do anything different. Be what you are, because you can't be anybody else.
Where's to live by then. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Sir Kenny and Paul as well, for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the show and the podcast. I certainly have. It's been an absolute pleasure listening to the three of you. So yeah, thanks very much.
Three Stooges.